What's up, people? What's up, people? It's your boy Spence Crosby, aka Faisca. I haven't said that in the last podcast, and I got my two homies with me as usual.
It's your boy William O. Taylor, CEO of New Wave Coaching.
And Tyler's Wellness, owner of the Talent to Income Academy.
And this is Fill Your Cup Podcast. Today, we already got our tea this time. We got some burdock root and ginger turmeric blend that I have. Fellas, our cup is filled. Let's take a sip. I know it's hot, so don't burn your lips, all right? Let's go ahead and take that sip. Set the intention.
Let's see, this intention. What should we do today?
I say health.
Health.
Yeah, that's pretty broad. You know?
Yeah.
All right, health it is.
For good health. Ooh, that is hot.
Oh, yeah, it's very hot.
A little bit warm.
So, we just got done taking our sip of tea. Hope you guys took a sip of whatever you're drinking. Hopefully some good tea. It's time to spill the tea now, fellas. Today we're going to be talking about nutrition and fasting, or the secrets about both.
There we go. Where should we start, man? With the nutrition, with the fasting? What do you guys think?
How important is nutrition? Like, what does it mean to have healthy nutrition? What does that mean?
Nutrition. Coming from a nutrition coach, yours truly. I would have to say nutrition is getting the fundamentals, the things that the body truly needs in order to operate and to perform at a high level, health-wise, keeping everything healthy, you know? What do you guys think?
I definitely agree. Definitely food is a way where, it's our fuel for our body. If you're a big car guy, you got to put, the right fuel in your vehicle to make sure it performs right. So you got to put the right fuel in your vehicle, your body, to make sure it performs right.
Yeah, so just like my man Tyler was saying, people put high performance fuel inside of your car, protect your engine. What is it, like the premium gas inside of the car? So why not put premium fuel into your body so that you can keep your engine running strong, perform at a high level, perform fast, Yeah.
I think that's very important, especially during these times, since no one on the media is talking about the importance of nutrition, because most people don't understand what it means to have healthy nutrition. There's a lot of misconceptualized things about that. And the biggest thing I tell people is listen to your body. We have all these different diets we talk about, because fellas, that's what I want to dive into. Because we talked about the importance of nutrition, but like now we get into the fads of diets, even fasting and all this different stuff. What do you guys think is the ideal diet? And if you don't think it's an ideal diet at all, what do you guys think?
So when it comes to diet, I would even like to change that word to nutritional regiment more than a diet, because that's a fitness industry that's been thrown around, dragged through the mud. Diet, I'm starting my diet. So rather than starting a diet, start a nutritional regimen and make it something that is permanent and that is something that you can stick to on a daily basis for the rest of your life. It doesn't have to come to an end. So with that, I can say just eat plants. Eat living food. That's a good start. Eat as many plants, as many vegetables, as many fruit as you can, because those foods are living and they give your body energy, living foods.
So you just kind of like spark something though. So you're going to get a little bit of backlash from the people who just, wait, he's talking about just being one of those vegetarians or vegans, those plant people, those plant-based people. Like, how are plants living? You're going to get that question, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. And it's not that I even go against what you said, because I totally agree with you. But what can you say to people that will combat that and say, hey, plants, how are they considered living? What does that mean? And why do you think plant-based nutrition is optimal?
All right, so plants, I'm saying, are living because, well, they are. They're in nature. Things that are in nature and things that relate to the human being, because nowadays we got a lot of processed food. It's man-made food, and it's meant to preserve. They put preservatives in it so that it lasts longer and all these types of extra things. That is why we're seeing high rates of disease, high rates of cancer, because we're putting odd things into our body. So, just to I kind of fall into the camp in between, because I do understand the principles of being plant-based, but I also understand and I feel that meat, in my opinion, is something that the human body needs. There's vegans out there, there's vegetarians out there, But as a human animal, think about it. You know, if you got a cat, try to feed your cat just a vegan diet and see what happens. Don't do that because it's not going to be good. You know, even the animals that have a physiological need for the vitamins that are in meat products. But when I say I am plant-based, I like to focus on more plants than meat rather than just having like a carnivore diet or eating a lot of meat. Make the emphasis plants.
Okay, that's understandable. Tyler, did you have any input that you want to put in?
And you're more of the expert on the nutritional aspect than I am. But what I will say is, you know, for individuals out there who are trying to figure out what the best path for them is, you know, is to one, realize how you feel after you eat certain types of food, right? You have to be aware of, you know, what you're putting in your body and then the results you're getting out of it. So if you know, find yourself eating the fast food and then feeling like groggy, tired, you know, and just like you're just nasty, like, you know what I'm saying? Like after eating those types of meals, you know, it's probably something you want to stay away from. You know what I'm saying? So just try to find something that works for you. Personally, I am plant-based myself, but, you know, that's what I found that works best for me.
Totally agree with that, just because you have to listen to your body ultimately. And a lot of people are out of whack with what they eat and what does it mean to really be attuned to what your body responds to. So with that, I'm going to say that listen to it. Different things you experiment. I did the vegan vegetarian thing for a while. I don't even label myself. I kind of just, I guess you can call me a flexitarian. If I do eat meat, it'll be like some type of fish, but that's not considered, I guess, meat. But I did the vegan thing for 2.5, almost 3 years. I did the vegetarian thing for like 7 years. So I just respond well to what I'm doing now, and definitely vegetarian lifestyle does work for me. But I want to dive into the next topic, and that's fasting. And fasting has it's become more of a, I don't want to say a trend, because it was a trend probably like 3 or 4 years ago. I think it's becoming more of a lifestyle thing for people. I know when I first did it, my father used to do it a lot. And so I thought it was pretty fascinating. I've been fasting probably for the last almost 10 years now when I started really doing it. What do you guys, since there's a lot more evidence now that's coming out, how do you guys feel about fasting? Illwill, take it off for me.
All right, so fasting, I'm gonna have to say fasting it's a good thing. Definitely, you see a lot of it in religion, you know, and that's why it resonated with me. A little bit of a detachment from food. Even when you think about vegan or vegetarian, and you think about the concept that they're doing, they're not eating meat. They're kind of like fasting from meat. So when you think about fasting, it can come back to fasting from food in general. And it really does do some amazing things. You know, as human beings, we're designed to be able to go without food for a while, you know, just because of the fact that we evolved that way. You know, the caveman who was out there in the wild, sometimes they'd hunt a big buffalo or whatever it is, woolly mammoths they had back then, and they'd be able to eat for a while, feast, but then they'd have to come back, and, you know, you might not eat for a couple days until you can find the next food. So definitely feel that it belongs in the human repertoire. It's definitely a tool that can be used. Okay, so Illwill definitely supports fasting. Tyler, how about you?
I honestly also support fasting. I feel that we all individually should be able to go hours without feeling like we're hungry and starving. And as you start to fast more, you know, you're going to, like, it's sort of your body adapts to what you're doing, right? And so you might feel like you're not getting enough food maybe in the beginning. You might feel hungry or whatever, but then you just eat that big meal later, right? And then your body is like, oh, this is when I'm getting nutrition. This is when I'm going to get the food. So then your body would just start to adapt and make its eating cycle around when you would normally be taking in that food. You're training your body to be regulated. You know, you're like, I'm going to eat at 7 o'clock every night, right? So your body knows around 7 o'clock, that's when I'm going to start getting hungry. You know, it starts to regulate your entire body.
I also read studies before that fasting is great for the replenishment of your white blood cells, those T cells and stuff like that. Basically, how I think about fasting is when you take in those foreign things into your body, because food is foreign to the body. That's why the body has to go through an intensive process to break down things. You have to disseminate blood into those areas. And when you concentrate blood in those areas, you're taking away from other places. Like before, that's why they never say don't eat a big meal before you work out, because your blood is going to be concentrated in digestion. And those muscles are like, okay, we gotta work that much harder and they might cramp or anything like that. So it's important to actually give your body a break. That's what fasting really plays a role, because it allows the body to be like, okay, let's go ahead and repair these cells. Let's repair this part of the organ, because you're constantly taxing your body when you eat a lot. So you have to be mindful of that. Fellas, I want to jump into another question about fasting and how do you guys incorporate it into your lifestyle? Like, take me through a day, Tyler, of a typical day for you with incorporating fasting, and what do you eat?
Well, so my typical day when I start, waking up in my morning, I don't actually eat my first meal till about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. And that might be something, really quick and easy, like a bowl of oatmeal with maybe some nut mix in there, like pecans or almonds or something like that. And then later in the day, a couple hours later, I'll have a full meal, and that could be, anything, whether it be again, plant-based. So like one of the places that I do go is this place called Char Downtown, and I get a nice salad there. But I build it up. I put everything that they pretty much offer that I can eat in there too. Or if I'm making my own stuff, it really just depends. But that's my eating window is around 2 o'clock, and then maybe my dinner's around 6.
So how many hours do you think you fast a day?
Oof. I mean, it depends if I do eat at 6 or if it's a little later around 8. But yeah, it'd be like 8 p.m. till 1 or 2 the next day.
Nice. Okay, giving the body a big break. Go ahead, illwill. Take it off.
All right, so typical day of fasting looks like for me, I'll start the night before. Normally try to stop eating around 8, 9, 10, depends on how late. I know it's not good to eat before you go to sleep, but I just try to get the energy that my body needs, so it just kind of depends. I'll try to stay up, move around. But normally, let's say 9, that's about the end of the eating window. So I'll sleep, wake up, fasted. I probably grab some tea, grab some water, stay hydrated. It's very important to stay hydrated. From there, 9 o'clock rolls around. It's already 12 hours into a fast. So from there, I normally will try to get a workout in before I break my fast. So I hit the gym, come home. It's also really good to have food prepared before you break your fast, so that, because you will get hungry, you will start getting cravings. You don't want to give in to the donuts or immediately break your fast with sugar or something toxic. So you really want to kind of hold off or prepare something in advance so that you can eat something healthy. Some vegetables, a smoothie. Mine look like a smoothie, or maybe a nice salad, or maybe just a nice little meal prep meal with some carbs and some rice, and then from there, more than likely that first meal is going to be a little bit lighter, and then I kind of go on throughout the day. I'll try to eat a little bit more within that eating window. So I say about 1 to 9 is going to be my eating window.
Okay, and I think those are all good eating windows, and giving your body a break is critical. Me personally, I typically don't eat until 2, 3, sometimes 4. I usually give my body, I say 15 to 18 hours of fasting. Sometimes it's more, sometimes a little bit less. And like Will said, depending on what time, like when he said eating no later, well, not before you go into bed, I think that's pretty much a major key. And I try not to eat no later than 10, but Monday through Wednesday are my days I get back around 8, 8:30, take a shower, and I typically like to shower before I eat. So sometimes I eat a little bit later than I want. Guys, how do you feel about eating? Does it affect your sleep? I know we're still talking about fasting, but I want to talk about eating late. Does that affect the way you sleep, and even the way you wake up? How does that affect you guys?
100%, man. I noticed that if I do have that meal and it's a large meal, then I just all right, I'm going straight to sleep so I can get my sleep. I'll be restless. My body is still awake digesting that food, and that's what they say. Because it takes energy for your body to digest, versus if I was kind of the food had already digested, now my body can go to work on repairing itself, fixing the muscles that are tore apart in the workouts, flushing out the toxins, cleansing, the fluids around in your brain, everything like that. So I definitely, after I do eat, I notice that my sleep it's hindered. I wake up, I'm groggy. So I really do try to stay away from that. Yeah, as much as possible.
Okay. Tyler?
Personally, it depends on my sleep on that night, depending on what I have to do for work.
Tyler doesn't sleep.
Right.
Tyler doesn't sleep, guys.
He's an owl.
Man, yeah. So I mean, I'll go to bed, sometimes around 4 a.m. It really depends. So then the latest I'd eat, if it's super late, would be like 9 or 10. Like, and that's like if I miss stuff and I was like busy all day. And what I noticed though about fasting, more or less, is like my mental state, right? You focus on what you want to eat when you eat more often. And then if you're focusing on food all the time, you're not focusing on your goals. So, fasting for me was allowing me to like put my mental energy to use and actually focus on what I want to accomplish.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
I honestly have a lot of days like that where it's just nice that I can fast because maybe I'm being productive, doing so many things. My hunger hasn't really kicked in like that, and I can knock out a lot without feeling the major energy drain because my body needs energy. It's just adapted to keep producing energy, and I can keep moving until I get some downtime, and then I can enjoy a meal.
I agree with you guys with the fasting and the nutrition. I definitely think nutrition needs to be talked about more because nutrition is a form of medicine, and I think it could definitely alleviate a lot of issues that we have today. I also think fasting is important because giving the body a break is so key. A lot of people, including myself when I was younger, eating 6 meals a day, and I was just talking to Tyler a couple of days ago about doing that, and it's just like, wow, you have to constantly think about, okay, I got to eat at this window. I got to eat at this window. So I don't think that's necessary. I think that's definitely listen to your body to see what you respond to. I think that's the most helpful advice I could give anyone. Before I can tell anyone how to run their body, like you have to know what you respond to the best. Anything else you guys want to mention about nutrition and fasting?
Fasting, just some tips before you get into it. You want to take your time. You don't want to jump into this like, okay, I'm going to do my typical, the 16-8, that's a typical fast, or maybe you're going to do a 24-hour fast. You never fasted before. So take it easy. First, pay attention to what time you normally eat that first meal. Say you eat at 8. Okay, this week, let me try to push it back to 8:30, and then you do that for a whole week, and then you come back the next week. All right, let me push it to 9. And then you keep kind of taking small progressions towards reaching that fasting window. Pay attention to how you feel. Some days if I'm hungry, sometimes some days I'll wake up and I'll be like, man, I'm hungry first thing in the morning. Like I should eat some food. Maybe I didn't eat enough or whatever it is. I'll listen to that and I'll be like, yeah, it might be time for some fuel. So it's not something you have to do every day, but it is helpful. It's cleansing. You have the mental focus. So I would say start there. Start there with fasting, taking it slow, and just listening to your body. Don't go into just a large fast all of a sudden. Yeah. Maybe you guys want to talk about some benefits of fasting, other benefits you guys know?
I know for me, the fasting really benefits me spiritually, and it really helps me to laser focus. I don't identify with the body, so to speak. And what I mean by that is basically giving into those cravings, the needing to be stimulated. I think that's big in Western society because we live here and we experience that. We always feel the need to be stimulated. I got to eat. Holidays, social gatherings. I mean, it's always stimulation going on. And I think it's important that you give your body a break. You need to give your body a break. Allow it to heal itself. Allow it to really just cycle things through rather than constantly have to focus on digestion all the time. And that's something that fasting has changed my life for the last 10 years. There were times in my day that I would do a day or two. Typically now I just go, like I said, my window is like 15 to 18 hours. And I feel really good. And I know most importantly that my belly, it doesn't like get bloated because I'm just like, okay, I'm hydrated and I'm in a fasted state. So I know I perform really well in a fasted state.
Mm-hmm. One thing I want to say too, mainly is, as you're fasting and such, like I said before, it's your mental state, right? If you're eating a ton of meals all the time, snacking all the time, the things you're probably focusing on is what that next snack's going to be, what that next meal is going to be, right? And, I noticed myself, becoming more self-aware. If you want to get really into fasting, but maybe you're just like, I don't know if I can cut out my meal yet. Maybe cut out the snacks, right? Stop snacking so often. Cut that out and just let your meals be the only thing that you eat that day. And then slowly move your meals back a few hours and so on and see what happens, right? Because what you're going to notice if you just, bring awareness to your thoughts, right? You're going to notice that you're not going to think about that food that much. You're going to be like, oh, I already know what my next meal is because, I set a schedule for that. I know when it's coming. I know what I'm going to do. I always do this thing. It's a routine. And then so, it just becomes easier for you to focus on the tasks that you have at hand in the present moment.
All right. So, yeah, you guys talked about some interesting things there. Spencer, you hit on the digestion break, so that's a benefit that you get. Tyler, you hit on the less frequency of your meals. So I like to elaborate on both of those things. So, fasting is going to give your digestion a break, and that's your metabolism, Take, for example, turtles. Turtles live for a long time, and their metabolism is very slow. They don't eat very frequently, and I think that has something to do with the fact that they don't eat a lot, The more that you eat, the more frequent that you eat, the more your body and your digestive system is working to digest this food. So if you can do it a little less frequently, I think that will lead to longevity and living a longer life. Tyler hit on the point of cutting out the snacks. So cutting out the snacks is going to allow you to also extend that time between where you're eating food. And in doing so, you're going to also lower your insulin response to food. You're going to have less blood sugar spikes, and that is going to give you a nice, kind of better, smoother energy, and you're also going to burn more fat while you're not receiving these huge insulin spikes all the time.
Totally agree with that. Those are good points to point out, especially with the insulin and the spike in sugars. That definitely plays a role. And that's why you shouldn't break your fast with something crazy because it's just going to spike. Then your body is like, okay, I got to produce all this insulin just to take off these sugars. So be careful with all that.
Also, another thing, while you're fasting, drink lots of water, stay hydrated, because that's, I'd say most important is stay hydrated, If you start fasting, you're probably going to start maybe getting the food headaches that you wonder, like, oh, people get like headaches when you're hungry. What's really going to help with that is staying hydrated. You can even put a little bit of pink Himalayan sea salt in your water. That's going to give you your potassium, everything that you might be missing from food, because food contains salt. So I think a lot of that is going to be coming from just the lack of salt. So getting in the hydration, getting in a little bit of salt is definitely going to help.
And let me ask you guys too, do you think that, if people started to fast, that a lot of the problems that they have, like high blood sugar and like all these, natural problems that people just started to accept, you think those would go away?
Oh, without a doubt, it'll go away. I also think greenhouse gases will be greatly reduced, just because if humans knew how to control their appetite, you wouldn't have the need for all this farming and killing of the animals and destroying the plants and everything. If people learn how to control their appetite, I'm telling you, the world would surely change for the better.
Yeah, and definitely less emissions, less waste being produced. And then just to highlight the health benefits of, say, like diabetes and stuff like this. When you fast, you're adapting your system so that you can, I don't know if you kind of produce insulin, or you can kind of modulate it and control it better. I think that diabetics, they might be afraid to try fasting, but it's more than likely it's something that's going to help you. Sometimes the doctors will tell you things like don't fast, or you can't do that. You need to eat your sugar all the time. But I think that fasting is definitely going to play a role in healing and allowing your body to do what it's supposed to do naturally. Be advised, take it with precaution. But definitely is going to help with obesity. Producing less of that insulin is going to allow your body to burn fat and to detox, and get rid of all that excess energy.
I was just going to say, by any means, make sure you guys listen to whoever your nutrition or practitioner is, or your doctor or whatever, because you guys aren't going to come back to be like, hey, they said this from Fill Your Cup podcast, I should do this. Now I'm in a hospital with this. Like, no.
Right.
Don't blame it on us.
At your own discretion, guys.
At your own discretion. As you heard me and illwill say, at your own discretion.
Right.
Me too.
Tyler too.
This works for us. Try it. If it works for you, hey, that's good. If it doesn't, you don't have to do it,
It's all trial and error, guys. It's all trial and error.
I always say that our bodies are like our own scientific experiments.
Totally agree.
So true.
You are the vessel. This is your avatar. Control it. Do whatever you want to do with it.
Yeah.
Guys, I think this was a very productive podcast. I enjoyed it. I think I even took away some things. I actually kind of fomented my mind to be like, wow, I remember that now. So this was a great podcast. I hope you guys were able to digest everything and really just be aware of what we were saying, and most importantly of what do you do in a typical day? What do you eat? You know, do you fast at all? Guys, any more tips or anything you want to add before we go ahead and close out?
Maybe just to talk about some fundamental nutrition steps that you can take, developing healthy eating habits, you know. Try to make a majority of your food healthier food. You know, make sure that it has some type of leafy green in each meal, some type of vegetable in each meal if you can, you know. Try a salad, you know, drink lots of water, stay hydrated. Those are all things that are very fundamental to staying in shape, staying healthy. Also, cutting out the processed and refined carbs, you know, the sugars, the bread, the flour. Go for more kind of like what Tyler was kind of pulling up from his phone. He had The 4-Hour Body by Tim Ferriss, and he just kind of talks about the slow carb approach. Everybody thinks carbs are bad, but what they're really talking about is the refined carbs. So try to cut out as many of those refined carbs as you can. Go for more sweet potatoes, you know, legumes, beans, even white rice isn't so bad, you know. More natural carbs coming from vegetables and things like this and less of the refined stuff.
Okay, Tyler?
One thing I want to add on is something that Will dropped as a gym at our mastermind meeting. He was saying that, you know, as you're, you know, eating and trying to get your diet or, you know, your regimen right, don't be afraid to eat the same thing all the time. If you want to have results, you know, you're going to have to find a meal that works for you. And if it is one type of meal that has all the nutrition in it, you know, if you want fast results, don't be afraid to eat that same meal all the time. It's going to be tough to, you know, get all your macros and stuff when you're just like, well, maybe this place has what I need, you know, but if you know what a meal has everything you need, go ahead and eat that.
Yeah, definitely try to get out of the mindset of we want food because it tastes good. Get into the mindset of I want to eat this food because it's good for me and I have good energy when I eat this food. Pay attention to how the food makes you feel and perform.
All right, guys. Well, thank you. Thank you. I hope you guys appreciate that advice as well. Guys, until next time, we're going to go ahead and our cups are pretty much empty. Besides Will, he just filled his up again.
Burdock root, that's some good stuff.
Yeah, some burdock root, turmeric, ginger. Yeah, so guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Hope you guys filled your cup with some good stuff, and I hope you guys enjoyed the tea that was spilled. Until next time, Spence Crosby, Faiska, I'm out.
Tyler's Wellness out as well.
It's your boy, Professor Illwill, and I'm out. Check us out. New Wave Coaching.
Peace.
Peace.